We met socially and he was fabulous. He was such fun. He got on with my friends, my family. Everybody liked him.
And not just fun, but he was really rather extravagant, wasn't he? So he was obviously leading an incredibly expensive lifestyle, and he sort of swept you up in it with him.
Yes, he said this was normal for him. And for me, it was a lovely experience, obviously, but not something I craved or needed. And he said, relax, enjoy it. This is how life is for me. I want you to enjoy it too.
What was he doing? What were you guys doing?
We were doing normal things that people do, but of a very extravagant level. For example, a bottle of wine would be £1,000 or £2,000. Yeah.
Wow.
We'd go to the theatre, but we'd stay overnight at the Dorchester as opposed to getting the train home. We would go on lots of fabulous holidays, always first class.
Where did he tell you all the money was coming from?
He said he had various trust funds, he had dividends from his father's business, he had a holiday home abroad, a boat in Monaco, and he really laid it on thick. And I thought I didn't even consider that he was just a habitual liar and a con man.
You even bought his and hers Range Rovers
I know,
at one point, didn't you? Because your car had broken down.
I had a Range Rover myself, but it was a diesel. In his eyes, he said, "Oh, you don't want a diesel? I'm going to get you a proper Range Rover." So he went and bought two Range Rovers.
Did he also say he loved you? Did he make you feel loved and special?
Yes,
you really did.
It, Vanessa.
And you thought it was going to be forever and ever.
I had no reason not to.
So when did this fabulously wealthy guy with these £2,000 bottles of wine and Rolexes suddenly start needing money from you? How did that happen?
About a year after we had been seeing each other, he said that all of his assets and his bank accounts had been frozen in his divorce proceedings. I then said, you know, well, I have my money for my house, which I'm happy to loan you. I can't afford to fund this lifestyle, but I'm happy to loan you some money, which now on reflection, he quickly agreed to. So I started loaning him money, and then it kept going and going.
And you kept that very quiet from your family too,
yes,
didn't you?
yeah. Well, it's private.
Yes,
in a relationship, you don't tell people your financial situation between each other. And I trusted him.
And what did he say about ever paying you back? Did he tell you when he would pay you back or how he'd pay you back?
Yes, he said he would pay me back once his divorce was through, and obviously his assets would then be accessible again.
And
again, I believed
to have IVF treatment together.
We had 5 rounds of IVF together.
So you were serious. You guys were serious.
I believe we both. I was.
This was
genuine.
Your life,
I was
and
serious.
this was going to happen.
Yeah.
This was the guy for you.
I believed he was genuine.
So what gave you the idea then that this love of your life, this gorgeous guy, wasn't at all who he was claiming he was?
Well, when I finally called the debt in officially, so to speak, the day he was meant to pay me back, and we were meant to exchange on a property, he went out for a coffee and checked himself into the Priory.
Without telling you?
Yes.
So he disappears, out for coffee, and he's just disappeared off the face of the earth.
Next thing you know, he's in
Next thing I know, he's in the Priory.
Why was he there?
He said he told me that he was suffering because from being upset that his family had turned against him.
Well, we can't make conclusions about his state of health, but what we do know is how much money you ended up lending this guy. How much money of yours did he take in the end? Or
in the end, it all added up to just over 1.2 million with everything added in.
Where did that money come from, Sacher? Because that's not money like most people have lying around.
I know. It was a combination of my nest egg, money from sold jewellery, money from sold cars.
And somewhere along that line, in that 1.2 million, a lot of people at home will be wondering, did you not think? Was there not a little voice in the back of your head that said, hang on a minute, something's not right here?
Well, on reflection, I should have, but these con men are so good at lying.
And also, he'd been grooming you for a whole year.
He'd groomed me for a year.
You'd be after a year. Yes. Somebody buys you cars, buys you
wine,
and
I believe in give and take as well.
Of course.
It's fair.
And I totally get why she believed him. Why wouldn't you believe him?
I didn't think someone
And we're not looking not to believe people. We don't think people are conning us. We want to believe them. And he makes you feel loved and comfortable, and you think you might have a baby with him. I mean, of course she's going to believe him.
But then you ended up in court.
Yes, I didn't want to go to that length, but my legal team have been remarkable. Thanks to Keith Oliver and the team at Peters & Peters and my barrister, Justin Hugo. They've been fantastic. Without them, I wouldn't have survived this.
And we should reflect on what the judge has said, because you have been given an award of, I think, just over £300,000,
it's
which
just
is
under
all of your money.
$500,000 ultimately.
Right.
Yes,
OK, well, the judge did say Mr Winter's conduct appears to have been driven principally by his addiction to spending money, for which he's received treatment rather than any intention to inflict distress upon Ms Barker.
Do you feel that's true?
Obviously, I feel very differently, because if it wasn't deliberate, why have I had to go to these lengths?
The statement carries on. This does not excuse Mr Winter's blatant deceit, but it is a matter that mitigates, to a limited extent, his culpability for that deceit. And we did offer your ex-partner the opportunity to respond. And while he didn't want to give a statement, he reiterated the judge's comments, as I've just said, that he had been suffering from an addiction and his behaviour wasn't motivated by malice.
Is there anything you'd say to warn other women not to be in the kind of situation you've unfortunately ended up in?
Yes, just don't loan anybody any money, ever. You never think it's going to happen to you, but it does. And I feel I'm not a stupid woman, but I was stupid.